Emma, I have cancer. My sister Olivia's voice cracked through the phone during my baby shower. The doctors say it's serious. I need mom here now. The cupcake I was holding fell to the floor, blue frosting splattering like tiny clouds across my kitchen tiles. My mother, who had been arranging gifts on the table, immediately grabbed her purse. I'm so sorry, honey, she said, already heading for the door. Olivia needs me. You understand, right? You've always been the stronger one. I'm Alexandra, and at 32, I was 7 months pregnant with my first child after 3 years of fertility treatments. The baby shower was supposed to be my moment, a celebration of the miracle growing inside me. Instead, I watched as every guest, led by my mother, rushed out to support my 28-year-old sister in her time of need. That was 8 months ago. Now, I stood in my office at Cedar Valley Children's Hospital, staring at the job application on my desk. As head of pediatric nursing, I oversaw all new hires. The name at the top of the resume made my blood run cold: Olivia Mitchell. She's perfect for the position, my supervisor, Dr. Thompson, said enthusiastically. Top grades in nursing school, excellent recommendations, and she has a personal connection. She's a cancer survivor. I felt the room spin slightly. Cancer survivor. Yes, she mentioned overcoming lymphoma last year. Such an inspiring story. I think she'd be wonderful with our young patients. Last year, when I was pregnant, when she called during my baby shower, sparking a chain of events that left me celebrating one of the most important moments of my life alone. I remembered the weeks that followed. My mother moved in with Olivia to help her through treatments. When I went into early labor at 35 weeks, Mom was at Olivia's chemotherapy session. My husband Jack had to drive me to the hospital while I clutched my phone, listening to Mom's voicemail message for the 5th time. I thought she'd be here by now, I whispered to Jack as contractions ripped through me. Focus on our baby, he said, squeezing my hand. That's all that matters right now. Little Lucas arrived after 18 hours of labor. My mother showed up 2 days later, full of apologies and stories about how hard things were for Olivia. The treatments are so draining, she said, barely glancing at her grandson. Olivia needs so much support right now. You understand, don't you? You're doing fine. You have Jack. Now, staring at Olivia's application, pieces started falling into place. The vague details about her treatment, the way she'd avoided specific questions about her doctors, the mysterious recovery that happened just weeks after Lucas was born. Alex, Dr. Thompson's voice snapped me back to the present. Should I schedule her interview? I'll handle this one personally, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. The next morning, Olivia walked into my office, freezing when she saw me behind the desk. She'd always been the pretty one, the dramatic one, the one who needed saving. But now she looked small, uncertain. Alex, she stammered. I didn't know you were head of pediatric nursing. Yes, for the past 3 years. I gestured to the chair across from me. Please sit. Tell me about your experience with cancer treatment. She paled slightly but sat down. It was tough, but I'm better now. Which hospital did you receive treatment at? Different ones, for second opinions. And your oncologist's name? Silence. It's interesting. I continued pulling out some papers. I checked with every oncology department in the state. None of them have any record of an Olivia Mitchell receiving treatment last year. The color drained from her face. Alex, I can explain. Explain what? How you faked having cancer to steal attention from my pregnancy. How you made our mother miss the birth of her first grandchild. Or how you're now using this lie to build your career. Tears welled in her eyes. I didn't mean. Mom was so excited about the baby, about you. It was always about you. Perfect Alex, brilliant Alex, responsible Alex. I just wanted. Wanted what? To hurt me? Congratulations, you succeeded. No, she leaned forward, desperate. I was jealous, okay? You were having a baby, something Mom always wanted for us, and everyone was so happy for you. I felt invisible. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. Behind the tears and mascara, I saw something familiar. The little girl who used to follow me around, who cried when I got better grades, who always needed to be the center of attention. Do you know what it was like? I asked quietly, going through the end of my pregnancy alone. Having my mother miss the birth of my child because she was at your fake chemotherapy session. Olivia crumpled in her chair, sobs shaking her shoulders. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm so sorry. I got caught in the lie and didn't know how to get out. That's why I became a nurse. I wanted to do something good to make up for what I did. I sat back in my chair, feeling the weight of our shared history, the years of competition and hurt, the moments of love buried under layers of rivalry. You're qualified for this position, I said finally. Your grades are excellent, your recommendations stellar. But I need to know, why here? Why apply to work with my son's pediatric unit? She wiped her eyes, straightening in her chair. Because I want to make things right. I want to be the aunt Lucas deserves, the sister you deserved all along. I've changed, Alex. Let me prove it. The silence stretched between us, heavy with unspoken words and years of complicated emotions. Outside my office window, I could see the children's ward where my son, now a healthy 7-month-old, sometimes visited during my lunch breaks. The same ward where, if I hired her, Olivia would work. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out another form. I pushed the form across my desk, watching Olivia's eyes widen as she read the title. Probationary employment contract. 3 months, I said firmly. You'll work under direct supervision. One mistake, one lie, one attempt to manipulate anyone, and you're out. Do you understand? She nodded quickly, hands trembling as she reached for a pen. I won't let you down, Alex, I promise. Don't promise me, I replied, show me. The next few weeks were a strange dance of professional distance and personal history. Olivia threw herself into the work, arriving early, staying late, taking on the most challenging cases with a dedication that surprised even me. But the real test came when our mother decided to make an unexpected visit to the hospital. I was reviewing patient charts when I heard her familiar voice echoing down the hallway. My brave girl, working with sick children after everything you've been through. My stomach clenched. Of course, Mom still believed the cancer story. I stepped into the hallway, ready to intervene, when Olivia's response stopped me. Mom, she said clearly, we need to talk. There's something I have to tell you. I watched from around the corner as Olivia led our mother to the family consultation room. 20 minutes later, Mom stormed out, mascara streaming down her face. She didn't even notice me as she rushed past, her heels clicking angrily against the linoleum floor. That evening, as I was preparing to leave, I found Olivia in the break room, her eyes red but her posture straight. I told her everything, she said before I could speak. About faking the cancer, about why I did it. She's not taking it well. That's understandable, I replied, sitting across from her. You lied to her for months. She said she needs time to process, to learn to trust me again. Olivia laughed bitterly. The funny thing is, telling the truth, it feels better than all the attention I got from lying. Over the next few weeks, I watched Olivia navigate the fallout of her confession. Mom wasn't speaking to her, but instead of spiraling into her usual dramatic episodes, my sister focused on her work. She developed a special touch with our youngest patients, sitting with nervous parents, explaining procedures with patience and compassion. One afternoon, I found her in Lucas's favorite play area during her lunch break. She was organizing the toys, sanitizing each one carefully. Lucas comes here sometimes, she said without looking up. I want to make sure everything's clean for him. Did you know he loves the red fire truck? He always reaches for it first. I felt something shift in my chest. How do you know that? I watch him when you bring him in. Not in a creepy way, she added quickly. I miss so much of his early days. I want to know my nephew, even if it's just from a distance. The words I've been holding back spilled out. Why did you do it, Olivia? Really? Not the jealousy excuse, not the attention seeking, the real reason. She set down the toy she was holding, finally meeting my eyes. Because I was scared. You were creating this perfect family, this perfect life, and I was still just me. The screw-up sister, the one who couldn't keep a job or a relationship. Cancer meant people had to care about me, had to see me as something other than a failure. You were never a failure, I said softly. You were just living in a shadow you created for yourself. Before she could respond, alarms started blaring. Code blue in pediatrics. We both jumped up, professional instincts taking over. The next hour was chaos. A 4-year-old patient had an unexpected reaction to medication. I watched as Olivia worked alongside the emergency team, her movements precise, her voice calm as she soothed the terrified child while assisting with life-saving procedures. After the crisis passed, after the child was stabilized and the parents were updated, I found Olivia in the supply closet, quietly crying. Hey, I said, touching her shoulder. You did good out there. She wiped her eyes. I was so scared we'd lose her. All I could think was, what if it was Lucas? What if he needed help and I wasn't good enough? But you were good enough. You proved that today. She turned to face me. I want to be good enough for him, Alex. For you. For this job. I'm tired of being the person who needs saving. I want to be the person who helps save others. Looking at her in that moment, I saw something new emerging from the ruins of our old relationship. My sister was growing up, finally facing her demons instead of creating dramatic distractions from them. That night, as I nursed Lucas before bed, I made a decision. The next morning, I called my mother. Mom, I said when she answered, I need you to come to the hospital. There's something you need to see. Is everything okay? She asked, worry creeping into her voice. Is Lucas all right? Everyone's fine. Just come at noon. And Mom, keep an open mind. When she arrived, I led her to the pediatric ward where Olivia was conducting her daily rounds. We watched through the window as my sister checked on her young patients, laughing with a little girl as she changed her bandages, high-fiving a boy who just finished his physical therapy. She did this, Mom whispered, pressing her hand against the glass. She really became a nurse. A good one. I confirmed. She's not the same person who lied to us, Mom. She's trying to be better. Mom turned to me, her eyes filling with tears. I missed so much, didn't I? Your pregnancy, Lucas's birth, all because I believed. We can't change the past, I interrupted gently, but we can choose how we move forward. Through the window, Olivia looked up and saw us. For a moment, she froze, uncertainty crossing her face. Then one of her patients called out, and she turned back to her work, proving through actions rather than words that she had changed. She told me the truth, Mom said quietly. It must have been hard for her, knowing she might lose me completely. Maybe she finally realized that real love is stronger than any lie. As we stood there watching Olivia work, I felt the last pieces of my anger begin to soften. My sister wasn't perfect. None of us were. But she was trying, really trying, to build something meaningful from the ashes of her mistakes. 1 year later, I stood in my living room watching Olivia help Lucas take his first wobbly steps. My son giggled as he stumbled forward, his tiny hands gripping his aunt's fingers for support. Mom sat on the couch, recording everything on her phone, her smile bright and genuine. Come to Grandma, sweetheart, she called, and Lucas turned, taking 3 determined steps before falling into her waiting arms. The scene was so normal, so peaceful, it was hard to believe how far we'd come. Olivia had completed her probationary period with flying colors and was now one of our most requested pediatric nurses. More importantly, she'd become the sister and aunt I'd always hoped she could be. Alex, Olivia called, breaking into my thoughts. Look what I found while organizing my apartment. She pulled out a worn photo album, and my heart skipped. It was filled with pictures from our childhood, before competition and jealousy had poisoned everything. Remember this? She asked, pointing to a photo of us in matching Halloween costumes. You were Wonder Woman, and I insisted on being Wonder Woman too because I wanted to be just like you. You threw a fit when Mom suggested you be Batgirl, I recalled, smiling at the memory. I always wanted to be like you, Olivia said softly. I just went about it the wrong way. Mom joined us, peering over our shoulders at the photos. My girls, she murmured, wrapping an arm around each of us. I'm so sorry I ever made you feel like you had to compete for my love. The doorbell rang, interrupting our moment. It was Sarah, one of our younger patients' mothers, coming to drop off a thank you card. Her daughter Emma had been released from the hospital last week after a long battle with pneumonia. Nurse Olivia, Sarah exclaimed, spotting my sister. Emma's been asking about you. The way you helped her through those breathing treatments, I've never seen anyone connect with her like that. Olivia blushed, accepting the card. Emma did all the hard work. I just helped her find her brave moments. After Sarah left, I noticed Mom watching Olivia with tears in her eyes. What? Olivia asked, self-conscious under our mother's gaze. I just realized something, Mom said. You didn't need to fake an illness to be special, sweetheart. You already have this gift inside you. That evening, as we sat around my dining table sharing dinner, Lucas babbling happily in his high chair, I thought about the journey that had brought us here. The baby shower that had emptied out, the lonely pregnancy, the birth without my mother. all painful memories, but no longer defining ones. I have something to tell you both, Olivia announced, setting down her fork. I've been accepted into the pediatric oncology training program. Mom gasped, and I felt my chest tighten. Oncology, the very specialty she had pretended to need as a patient. I know what you're thinking, she continued quickly, but that's exactly why I chose it. I want to help real cancer patients, real families going through what I pretended to experience. I want to turn that lie into something truthful and healing. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. You'll be amazing at it. You really think so? She asked, vulnerability creeping into her voice. I know so. I've seen how you are with our patients, how you connect with them and their families. This isn't about attention anymore. It's about making a difference. Mom stood up and walked around the table, pulling Olivia into a tight hug. I'm so proud of who you're becoming, she whispered. Later that night, after Mom had gone home and Lucas was asleep, Olivia helped me clean up the kitchen. You know, she said, drying a plate, I never properly thanked you. For what? For giving me a chance when I didn't deserve one. For seeing something in me worth saving. I put down the dish I was washing and turned to face her. You saved yourself, Olivia. All I did was give you the opportunity to prove you could. She smiled, but her eyes were serious. I think about it sometimes, what would have happened if you'd thrown my application away that day. I would have deserved it. Maybe, I agreed, but then we wouldn't be here, would we? Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Olivia nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek. Lucas is lucky to have you as his mom. I hope someday I can be half the mother you are. You will be, I said confidently, when the time is right, and your children will have the best aunt in the world. The baby monitor crackled with Lucas's soft fussing. Before I could move, Olivia was already heading toward the stairs. I'll check on him, she said. You finish the dishes. I watched her go, remembering the sister who had once been so desperate for attention that she fabricated a life-threatening illness. Now she moved with quiet confidence, secure in who she was and what she could offer. Through the monitor, I heard her gentle voice singing Lucas's favorite lullaby, the same one our mother used to sing to us. The same one that, despite everything, still meant family and love and forgiveness. As his fussing quieted, I heard Olivia whisper, "Sweet dreams, little one. Aunt Olivia loves you more than all the stars in the sky." And in that moment, I knew that sometimes the happy endings aren't about forgetting the past, but about building something new and beautiful from its lessons. My sister had transformed her greatest mistake into her life's purpose. Our mother had learned to love us both without comparison. And I had discovered that forgiveness, when given the chance to grow, could bloom into something stronger than the hurt it replaced. Lucas would grow up knowing a different kind of family than the one his mother and aunt had experienced. He would know unconditional love, genuine support, and the truth that everyone deserves a chance to become better than their mistakes. As Olivia came back downstairs, I pulled her into a hug. I love you, little sister, I whispered. I love you too, she replied, holding on tight. Thank you for helping me find my way home. Outside, the stars twinkled in the dark sky, witnesses to our healing, our growth, and the promise of all the tomorrows yet to come.